Good evening. Welcome to the Menomonee Falls Public Library Board meeting for the night. It's Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, 6:05. First, call to order and roll call. So Nicole Barker, President.
Tom Ewig, Secretary Treasurer.
John Sober, Board.
Matthew Forner.
Carol McGibney.
Ellen Rohr. Jacqueline Romer.
Next up, we have public comment. However, nobody is here for public comment, so we will skip over that. And then we have the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda will be approved in one motion unless any board member requests that an item be removed for individual discussion. That item can be considered at an appropriate time during the board's regular order of business. Approval of the minutes of the last regular board meeting and the bill for approval for July 2024 in the amount of $51,106.53. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes and the bill for July 2024?
I so move.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes of the last regular board meeting and the bill approval for July 2024, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed.
If you could just move your microphone a little closer to you.
I know it keeps cutting out.
Like you can move the whole thing.
Okay.
Like, there you go. That should help. Thank you.
Okay.
I was good. Okay.
Next, we have discuss and consider for approval Policy Review Committee's recommended amendments to Policy 3.01 Code of Conduct.
All right, so this was discussed in committee, and there were some potential changes. So this is a significant change from the previous Code of Conduct policy. I want to walk through how we came up with these changes and what the differences are. So the process was we had a staff committee formed of librarians and youth services, and I was in that committee as well. And we provided and came up with an analysis of what currently works and what doesn't work with our code of conduct. And we also studied other libraries' code of conduct policies. There were multiple edits, and it was reviewed by staff in all of our departments. It was also reviewed by the village attorney. So I'm apologies for my microphone going in and out. Try to talk louder. So we have some proposed changes. One is that we included at the beginning of the policy a statement regarding the expectation for behavior, so that it's expected that all visitors of the library show respect for others, respect for property, and respect for the library of experience. And that was included so that we have what we expect to happen versus only what we expect not to happen. We also listed the prohibited behaviors from most severe to least severe, generally speaking. So the most severe violations of the Code of Conduct are at the top of the bullet point list, and the least severe are at the bottom. We clarified use of electronic equipment in a manner that disturbs others and what that means. So that would be such as playing music on speakers, talking on speakerphone, things like that. We also added volunteers and library board members as to whom certain behaviors are prohibited against, not just the library staff. We also stated that places where food and beverage are prohibited will be labeled as such. Do you want to just switch mics with me? Sorry. Thank you. I jinxed it by saying that our microphone issues were resolved. Oh, and it's still cutting out. So, well, I'll give it a minute for Ellen to maybe test the plugs. All right, we'll try it now. We included what a patron can expect to happen when the policy is violated. So that you would be warned, talked to by library staff, explain that the patron is violating the code of conduct. And we also added a section about suspension of library privileges, and that goes over what the suspension of library privileges process looks like. Previously, in the current version of this policy, we don't have an explanation of what that looks like. It was very vague. For multiple reasons, I want it to be spelled out as much as possible what people can expect. I think that's really important. We also have language about appealing, and that was clarified to address the exact process of the appealing. So exactly what happens if a patron would like to appeal. So if they have a suspension or a ban from the library lasting 1 year or longer, they have the ability to appeal that with a written appeal to the library director within 30 days of the suspension. And then I will in turn hand that appeal over to the library board for a determination at the next scheduled board meeting. You will only be reviewing written appeals and any background information on the issues provided by me. After the review, it would be in your hands to determine whether you want to uphold, modify, or repeal the suspension. And we also included a re-entry meeting portion added as a requirement. So if there's any suspension lasting longer than 1 day, the patron must request a meeting with me in order for the suspension to be lifted. So if they're asked to leave the library for a week, a month, a year, however long it is, they have to set up a meeting with me to go over the reason for the suspension, the code of conduct policy, and require that the patrons sign a document noting that they will understand and agree to follow the code of conduct policy. And there may be additional reasonable requirements for reinstatement at the discretion of me or my designee. Anything? I don't have anything else. Policy review, did you guys have anything else to share about that one?
The only thing of clarification on that last piece is, do we maybe want to add a part that said the library director or somebody the library director designates, because, you know, whether you're on vacation.
Oh, so like a meeting,
Yeah.
meeting with the library director or my,
Or somebody that you designate.
Yes.
So you're not always on the hook, or if you're in a meeting all day.
right, yeah.
You know, I mean, if they're
Well,
proactive enough, I would, you know, again, it's just one of those, you know, if it happens to come across, I would think you could designate like Ellen to
Right.
fill in your place,
Definitely.
even though she's not the director.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So I can definitely add the library director or my designee for that. That makes
I
sense.
guess my only pushback on that is it's like, you know what? Their reentry is dependent on her availability, not in the immediacy. The only way I would see that as an issue is if she's out for 4 months.
Right,
And I
which,
think we would, in that point, appoint a designee which would operate in the same manner. I don't object to it. I don't know if it personally, if it's necessary for us to revise and update it and then vote.
oh, you guys can vote on it with amendments tonight.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so yeah.
It's only the, yeah.
I have no
Well, and kind of to your point, the way that I would see it is like somebody's suspended till the end of a week, and then Jackie's going on vacation for 10 days. You know, and yes, that person already served their punishment. Should they have, you know,
Right.
that's where I think it becomes a little bit of a gray area.
No, it's just,
Maybe I'm vacationing on the south of France for a month. That will never happen, but maybe.
Well, what if you have to
Never
have
say never.
surgery or,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, so I
Yeah.
think that is a good idea to have in there just in case.
Doesn't hurt.
I agree.
designee, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that is all I had on that one then. Anything else?
No? All right, so can I get a Motion to approve.
Motion to approve the code of conduct with that added verbiage there,
With the amendment.
with the
as
amendment,
amended.
as amended, yeah.
Second the movement or motion.
Any discussion?
No.
I appreciate all the time that went into this. I appreciate that it went out to the staff and also our attorney. I really value that, so thank you very much.
All in favor of approving policy 3.01, code of conduct, as amended, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed.
Jackie appreciated this background of proposed changes. That really kind of helped me.
Good, good. I'm glad it was helpful. I'll continue to include.
Perfect. Next, we have discuss and consider for approval policy review committee's recommended amendments to policy 3.02, safe child policy.
All right, so similar process to this. This one, we had a staff committee made up of staff from the Youth Services Department, and I was also included in that. We went over an analysis of what is currently working and not working with the policy, and we also did a study of other libraries' policies. There were multiple edits and reviews done, and we made sure that staff in all departments, not just Youth Services, reviewed it. And it was also reviewed by the village attorney. So for this one, not as many changes as the code of conduct, but what we did was we included an addition of guidelines for children ages 5 and under. So we clarified that children ages 5 and under must have a parent or another responsible adult or caregiver, 14 or older, within arm's reach at all times in the library, and that they must be accompanied by a parent or guardian while attending library programs. So making that, distinguishing that from children ages 6 to 9, that for children ages 6 to 9, they just have to be within the eyesight of their parent, another responsible adult, or a caregiver 14 or older at all times. And for those kids, if the parent isn't attending the program with the child, they just have to remain in the building when the child is in the building, and then be visible when the program is over. The other change is that we clarified staff responsibilities and expectations. So we do occasionally come into situations where people don't understand that public libraries are not after-school programs. We're not like teachers where we are fully responsible for any children in our care. And we wanted to make sure that we're not authorized to act in loco parentis or in the place of a parent. So it's very different. And we wanted to make sure that this was written down somewhere where we could point to it, that we don't monitor the arrival and departure of their child, things like that, just really clarifying the role of library staff. We also added specifics regarding age restrictions to certain spaces within the children's library. So since 1012 was added, we made the distinguishing section there that said that that's really for children between the ages of 10 and 12. The student study room, that's designated for children ages 18 and under. And they may be accompanied by adult educators or caregivers. The children's patio is really designated for children and their caregivers. It's not designated for adults who want to sit on that patio. We have a second floor patio for that. Just making that safe child area of the children's library. Of course, adults are always welcome to come and browse and access the collection, but spending significant periods of time unaccompanied by a child is not allowed in the children's library. Any questions on that one?
I don't think so. Great. Can I get a motion to approve policy 3.02, safe child policy?
I move to approve safe child policy 3.02.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving policy 3.02, safe child policy, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Next is the Special Events Outreach and Fundraising Committee, which I don't think has met. So we'll move on to the new business. We have discuss and consider for approval President Barker's appointment of John Soper to the Policy Review Committee. Can I get an approval for,
Does he want to?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. Be great. Got lots of experience there.
Well, then, motion to approve President Barker's appointment of John Soper to the Policy Review Committee.
all right, any discussion? Oh yeah, second, sorry.
A second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving John Soper to the Policy Review Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have discuss and consider for approval President Barker's appointment of Matthew Warner as Chair of Special Events Fundraising and Outreach Committee. Do you accept?
I accept.
All right. So I need a motion to approve Matthew Forner as the Chair for Special Events Fundraising and Outreach Committee.
So move. Second.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving Matthew Forner as Chair of Special Events Fundraising and Outreach Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have Trustee Education, Chapter 3, Bylaws for Organizing the Board for Effective Action.
May I interject really quick and ask if we can add a piece of new business to talk about these microphones at some point
Yes.
this evening to so I don't know if we want to do it now or do we want to
I
do it
can
later.
talk about the experience that I've had working on these microphones during my director's report,
That would be awesome. Because
and the experience I'll continue to have.
yep, no, so we'll get there then in your director's report. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
They were working when we tested them, so that's great. All right, so the trustee essentials chapter is all about bylaws of the Board of Trustees. So I want to take this time to review the bylaws with you all. I have them in front of you, so for your quick reference. So first, the bylaws discuss the board makeup per state statute. As you know, members are appointed by the village president with the approval of the village board. You know very well probably that you are not compensated for this. This is a volunteer position. However, if there's any significant travel or the expenses like that as part of your duties as board members, we can reimburse you for that. There are no term limits, so you could be on the board 30 years if you if you wanted to, and if you get reappointed. The two officer positions are president and secretary treasurer. There is an ability to have a special meeting, could be an emergency meeting, and those can be called at the direction of President Barker or called at the written request of two trustees. We do need 48 hours notice for those special meetings. There is an emergency. In that case, no less than 8 hours notice will be given for those meetings. A quorum is the majority of filled seats on the board present. So the majority vote is needed to approve any action. The bylaws do authorize the board to have the standing committees and the ad hoc committees, but committees only have advisory powers. They cannot make decisions on behalf of the library board. They can only advise changes. So under the legislation and practices portion of the bylaws, the board agrees to look to the American Library Association for guidance and standards of library and information services and to enhance learning and ensure access to information for all. The board also adopted the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction's inclusive services statement. Adopting this statement adheres to state standards for library service, and I also included that statement in your packet. So the Wisconsin Inclusive Services Statement was created by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction in 2019. The Department of Public Instruction serves as our state library. Some other states have state libraries that provide this information to public libraries, but in our case in Wisconsin, that's what DPI does. So the Inclusive Services Statement really outlines that Wisconsin public libraries are places where people should be safe, welcomed, respected. It talks about things like physical access to the building, hours of service, participation in programs and events, interactions with library staff, and also things like signage, websites, displays, and marketing. Are those inclusive to people with disabilities? Are those inclusive to members of our community? The statement discusses the need to have an ongoing dialogue between the library staff, the library board, members of the community, and it points out that we should especially be having those conversations with members of the community who are either underserved, underrepresented, or underrecognized. So in our strategic planning process, we do make a lot of attempts to talk to people of all walks of life and from all around the village of Menomonee Falls, even those who have never used the library or for whatever reason don't feel that they have access to the library, and figure out how to problem solve that so that we are inclusive rather than exclusive. And that's something that I'm always keeping in the back of my head whenever we are working on policies. How can we look at policies from an inclusive lens rather than exclusive, which is what I really tried to accomplish, and my amazing staff sub-working group for the Code of Conduct tried to accomplish with the Code of Conduct policy amendments. How can we get people in the library and keep having them come back, but also ask them to follow the rules? Any questions on that? All right. And we did just amend the bylaws in March of 2023, but those will be in our 3-year rotation for policy review.
All right, any discussion? Nope. Perfect. Next, we have the Library Board President's report, which I don't really have much to report. Been pretty busy on my end, so. Next would be the Library Director's report.
Well, I'm going to start by talking about microphones. So after the meeting last month, I had the company that we worked with to get the initial microphones out, and what we were asking for when we first bought these microphones and what we got were not the same thing. So we initially had been asking for microphones that could sit in between 2 people on the table, 1 microphone, and pick up both people. Somehow, that was not communicated to us, that wasn't something that was feasible with what we needed, with being both picking up a recording and also being part of the in-room speaker. So they just gave us these. These were really meant for 1 person to have. So we had to order additional microphones so that there's 1 for every board member and also for the public comment. So that was done, that was installed. We moved the tables further away from the speakers to hopefully alleviate some of the feedback issues that we were facing last time. As for the cutting in and out, I'm at a loss.
You're better though now, you're better.
Everything was, well, for now, yeah, I don't know why it's better now. Everything was working when we tested it with the tech that came out. So tonight after the meeting, I'll send an email and say, hey, we're still having problems. Come back out, fix it, please. Oh, there we go. So I will continue to work on this. And
So did the company that got the microphones, are they the ones that installed all the wiring and everything?
yes.
Okay, so
And
they did all of.
and the programming.
Yep.
So after last meeting, they reprogrammed these so that it would, well, after the meeting before last,
Yep.
they reprogrammed these so that it would pick up better. And there wasn't supposed to be this issue with the cutting in and out. So I'm thinking maybe these microphones, these are the new ones. I'm wondering if this is another programming issue with the cutting in and out, because it doesn't seem to be a problem on that side of the room. And those are the original bunch of microphones.
Yep.
So I will call my friends from the company back out again, once more again, to hopefully get this alleviated before the next meeting.
Well, and on the bright side, if they have pushback, you can go, I literally have a recording.
That's what I did last time. I sent them the recording. I'm like, I need you to figure out what's happening. Okay, so let's see. Thank you, Chris. That was genius.
And see if it is that.
Yeah, I think it probably is. So there's got to be something in the settings that they need to fix on these new ones. I thought that they would just do the same settings that they did on the first ones, but I guess not. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
No, that's more, that is exactly what I wanted to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the company has been out here because it shouldn't be on you guys to try and figure out what's going on with this.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
whoever installed into everything. No, I'm happy to hear that we're in the process of.
Yeah,
Figuring it
I'll
out.
email them after this meeting. Maybe it's not that, I don't know. I'll email them and ask them to watch this recording on YouTube and figure it out. Sorry about that, guys.
Nope.
It shouldn't be that complicated, I guess, but
It's nothing for you to apologize for. Like I said, I'm happy that you're all on top of
Yep.
it and you know exactly who to talk to.
yep.
No, have at it.
Secretary Treasurer Tom said have at it, so I'm on it. I'm on it.
There was a slight bit of feedback.
Yeah, I did hear the feedback as well, so there's got to be something in the programming that needs to be fixed. And we will do a full meeting test run. I'll get a bunch of the staff in here and we'll sit and talk and talk and talk and make sure that this doesn't happen before the next meeting, so.
Well, and more so for you know, your sanity and knowing that you know, everything is working. They're not charging you to come out here.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Well, on to the fun things. So thank you for letting me vent about that. It's quite the saga. So we completed the summer library program. August 10th was the last day of the summer library program. Our community read over 1 million minutes this year. We are transitioning into fall services and programs. So we are participating in the Great Lakes Great Read program. It's a one book, one community program, and we are collaborating with the Wisconsin Water Library at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the Wisconsin Library Association. We also continue to offer lots of programs for children, from baby story time all the way up to teen lock-ins. The book for adults for the Great Lakes Great Read program is The Best Part of Us by Sally Cole. And the book for children is The Water Walker by Joanne Robertson. This fall, we're working with fifth graders again on a new and improved kid librarian program. So fifth graders will be able to try out being librarians and working on various projects. Those who are at Riverside School will be able to use this to put towards their Riverside School Pin of Honor generosity requirement. Furniture rearranging has taken place upstairs. Thank you, Ellen, for all of your help moving furniture with me. So now there's a social cozy reading area in front of Latitude, and the amount of computers has been decreased per that motion from the board a couple months ago. So far, so good with that, and we'll see how it goes. We've gotten a lot of positive compliments about the reading area, so that's exciting. Speaking of the cafe, things are really moving ahead. You should have all gotten an email from me with an invitation to submit your, sorry, to submit your availability for a ribbon cutting in early September. I sent it yesterday.
Can you resend it? Maybe I threw it away, I didn't see it.
Okay, sure, yes, I will resend it. So we are looking at early September for the ribbon cutting, and then if you could please fill out your availability by Friday, I will have a final date and time for you next Monday. And then your formal invitation will come from the chamber, and the grand opening celebration for the following day after the ribbon cutting, that is planned out. So we will have a library-wide coffee-themed scavenger hunt, and the goal is to allow visitors to see all of our different spaces, find out about all of the different offerings that we have. We are planning special story times. We have a pretend play coffee shop that's going to be up in the early literacy, and we're going to be offering tours of the library. So that should be really fun. It's looking really good up there. The paper is now off the windows, so you can actually see into the space. So if you want to head up there after the meeting to check it out, it looks very cool. All of the plumbing and electrical work is completed. The inspections have passed, so we are ready to go. It's very exciting. We have had a few building and maintenance happenings going on. So with the process of getting Latitude up and running, plumbing-wise, we did have 2 leaks into the children's library by Forge Jr., and we had to temporarily block off that space. For now, it appears like those issues are resolved. And then last Friday and Saturday, our air conditioning went down. And we had another leak in Forge Jr., but it was not from the coffee shop. It was from a Belimo valve for our HVAC. So that has also been fixed. So hopefully there's no more leaks in the children's library, especially with our new flooring going in soon. So September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. Village President Walls has agreed to once again issue a proclamation in September in respect for National Library Card Sign-Up Month. He did that last year, and that was very exciting for us. And we attended the school district's back to school fair. We had 661 people stop by our table, and we issued 87 new library cards. So that was awesome. So that was very, very great. Shout out to the staff who went and issued all those library cards. It was super exciting. Lots of people excited to use the library this school year.
That's where I saw the
And I
storyteller.
did happen to stop by that table, and they were very engaged with the kids, and they did a wonderful job.
Oh.
They did a very, very nice job.
I'll tell them that. Thank you. And now I'm going to stop talking.
Ask you to talk again.
Okay.
Tell me the books again for adults and children.
Yes, it is The Best Part of Us by Sally Cole Mish. And then the children's one is The Water Walker by Joanne Robertson.
Thank you.
All right, we'll skip over the village trustees report since Anna's not here tonight. And the school district report since David is not here tonight. And move right on to Carol with the Friends report.
Okay, so let's talk about Kids Fest. Kids Fest was so much fun. I will show you, these are the bracelets that the Friends helped pay. So they paid for half, and Dynamite Dance paid for half of the beads and the elastic band and the little letterings or numbers that were involved in that. So we cost Friends and Dynamite Dance. The Friends also assembled these kits with all these little beads and all of this stuff. So 400 kits were made by Friends and 200 kits were made by Dynamite Dance. So the day of the event, I got to just have fun. I didn't have to assemble anything. I just got to talk to nice kids. Myself and the president of Friends manned the Friends table, and we handed out the kits, and there were so many children, so many happy families. It was just really a blessing to be there. So great fun, great for the Friends, just a great event altogether. So I'm going to beg your indulgence here. We're having the Indian Flavors fundraising on August 27th, which is next Tuesday, I believe, and we still have seats available. So for all those listening to us here, I just want to read this. So in the event that it might spur someone to want to sign up, I would encourage them to contact the library. So we're delighted to invite an exclusive culinary event, invite people to Healthy Indian Flavors with Alamelu in support of the Menomonee Falls Public Library. The event is this coming Tuesday, August 27th, from 5 to 7. Cost is $45. The venue is here in the library. And the little blurb says, join us as Alamelu, and I will not say her last name because I'll only massacre it, a celebrated PBS cooking show host and cookbook author, prepares a delicious meal, savor the rich and healthful flavors of Indian cuisine. Her cookbooks will be available for purchase, and we're also going to have a drawing for a free. So it should be a lot of fun. As I said, we still have spaces available. I would encourage people to sign up and contact the library. Other news to note, we're also talking still about having an Election Day bake sale on November 5th. That still is part of our conversation. We're also planning a fall give back event, talking about pizza crafters, also talking about getting Chocolate Factory involved as well, and maybe we'll have that event at Chocolate Factory. We've had donations to the Friends, which has been exciting, and we are also following up on a grant opportunity with Coles Care. So we'll see how that turns out. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Quick question. Carol, for that, the Indian cuisine, my wife and I aren't unfortunately able to make it. We're in the process of moving, and it's anyways, the cookbook,
Yeah.
are those available to purchase for anybody that's not going to be there, and do any of those go back to the library?
I don't believe, and Jackie, if you'll help me with this, I don't believe the proceeds go back to the library. I believe they're bringing them to sell.
Okay.
Are they available to purchase? We haven't discussed that. I don't know.
I don't believe that they're going to be available for purchase other than at the event.
She's bringing boxes with her, so I
Gotcha.
think.
Okay.
In lieu of some of the proceeds from book sales going back to the Friends or back to the library, she is offering her services for free for the Friends that night. So we're not
gotcha.
paying her a stipend. So it could have
okay.
gone either way, but that just made the most sense.
Okay. That does. We can talk about that after the meeting then.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, that's all.
All right, next meeting is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, at 6 o'clock PM, and we